You are lying, Marcus, and I am done watching you bury my father twice. Isabella Winston stands at the head of the redwood table on the top floor of Winston Group, her black suit cut like armor. The board members stare as if the air has turned to glass. At Marcus Winston's right hand, the legal counsel shifts a folder, ready to crown him as interim leader, ready to call it procedure and not theft. Marcus spreads his hands, calm and almost gentle. Grief makes people reckless, Isabella. Your father died in a tragic crash. The company needs stability. Isabella answers by slamming a sealed autopsy report onto the table. The wax seal cracks. Paper slides out like a blade. Stability, she says. This is a body that shows restraint marks, bruising that does not belong to a crash, and sedatives in his blood. You called it an accident because you thought I would be too polite to read the page. A low murmur ripples through the room. Marcus's smile tightens. You are accusing your own family, he says. In public. That is desperation. Isabella taps her phone. A recording fills the silence. A man speaks, voice distorted but familiar. Once my brother is gone, the Winston Group is ours. Keep the board hungry. Keep the police paid. Keep Isabella busy with funeral flowers. A second voice answers in a foreign accent. And the shares? The shares will come. Marcus's voice says on the recording. I have the right people, and I have the right timing. Marcus shoots to his feet. His chair scrapes hard. Fabrication. You forged this to steal what you cannot earn. Isabella does not flinch. Then say the words again, Uncle. Look at them and say my father died by chance. Marcus leans forward, eyes sharp. Your father was weak. He would have ruined us. I am saving the family, and I will not be lectured by a girl who thinks a diploma makes her a queen. Isabella feels the heat in her throat, but she keeps her voice clean. You are not saving anything. You are feeding it to strangers. You are selling our name like scrap. Marcus points at the doors. Security, remove her. The doors open. A man walks in, tall, controlled, wearing a tailored charcoal suit that belongs on a trading floor, not in a family war room. His gaze sweeps the table, steady and cold. He does not look at Marcus first. He looks at Isabella, and something unspoken passes between them, a recognition that cuts deeper than any greeting. The room whispers his name from old rumors and newer fear. Samuel Cole. He places a thin folder on the table and slides it toward the center, as if he is setting down a checkmate. My mother did not raise me to beg for a seat. Samuel says. She raised me to bring receipts. Marcus's face drains. Who let you in? Samuel keeps his eyes on the board. I did. And I brought bank transfers from your private account to a trucking company that was created 2 weeks before the crash. I brought payments to a fixer who has handled problems for you for years. I brought a wire note that says, clear the road and the bloodline. A board member coughs. Another stares at the folder as if it might bite. Isabella lifts her chin. Tell them who you are, Samuel. Samuel's jaw works once, like he is swallowing something old. Samuel Cole, Wall Street analyst. And I am my father's son. Shock hits like a wave. Marcus grabs the folder, flips pages, hands trembling. This is absurd. This is blackmail. Isabella steps closer. It is proof. It is also your end. Marcus's gaze snaps to her, then to Samuel. The first real panic flashes in his eyes. You think you can take me down together? He hisses. A grieving heir and a bastard with a spreadsheet? Samuel smiles without warmth. You should not have called me a bastard. It makes it personal. Isabella looks around the table. My father built this company with discipline and sacrifice. He did not build it for thieves. If you vote today, you vote with this evidence in front of you. You vote knowing your signatures can tie you to a murder. Silence stretches. Then Arthur Benson, the gray-haired elder who has served the family longer than any of them, clears his throat. Chairman Winston asked me to keep records of his last week. Arthur says. His voice is steady, almost sorrowful. He met with Marcus privately. He left furious. He told me if anything happens to me, protect Isabella. Marcus's mouth opens, then closes. His anger does not find words. Isabella exhales once. We are not here to beg. We are here to reclaim. Outside the windows, New York glitters, indifferent to the war inside. Isabella feels her father's absence like a weight on her back, and she turns it into a spine. This is my first order, she says. Freeze Marcus's executive access. Lock down the finance systems. Call compliance. Call law enforcement. If anyone tries to stop this, I will name them too. Marcus slams his palm on the table. You cannot do that. Isabella meets his eyes. Watch me. Samuel steps to her side, close enough that she can hear his breath, and he speaks softly so only she hears. After this meeting, he will not surrender quietly. He says. He will strike. Isabella answers just as softly. Let him. Because for the first time since the funeral, she is not alone. A month earlier, before the boardroom and the recording, Isabella stands in her father's private study, surrounded by the smell of leather and cedar. Grief has a strange rhythm. It comes in waves, then it vanishes, then it returns like a fist. She pulls open the bottom drawer of his desk. Her fingers find a hidden latch. The wood panel shifts with a quiet click. Inside is a redwood box, old and polished, locked with a simple brass keyhole. She searches the shelves until she finds a ring of keys taped beneath a frame. Her father never trusted locks without backups. The key turns. The lid rises. There are no contracts inside. No secret acquisitions. No lists of enemies. Only photographs. Her father in a hospital room, younger, softer, holding a newborn wrapped in a plain blanket. A woman stands beside him, dark hair, tired eyes, a gentle smile that looks nothing like the women in society pages. Another photo shows her father outside a small apartment building, handing the woman an envelope, his face tight with shame. Beneath the photos is a stack of letters. The first line of the first letter steals Isabella's breath. My child cannot carry my name, but he carries my blood. Isabella reads until the words blur. Her father writes of regret, of love, of fear. He writes of Marcus and the pressure and the threats. He writes that he will protect a mother and the child, even if it costs him everything. In the last letter, written only a week before his death, the handwriting grows jagged. Marcus knows. He is moving pieces. If I fall, find Samuel. Tell him I never stopped trying. Isabella sits on the floor, box open in her lap, and realizes two truths at once. Her father lied to her for years. And her father may have been killed for that lie. The next day she stands in a glass tower in Lower Manhattan, waiting in a lobby that smells of money and cold air. A receptionist checks her name twice, then leads her to a conference room with a view of the river. Samuel Cole arrives without haste. He is younger than the rumors suggest, with eyes that measure everything. He does not offer a handshake. Tell me why Winston asked for me, he says. Isabella sets one photo on the table, then another. She watches his face change, just slightly, like a mask cracking. Where did you get these? Samuel asks. My father. Isabella says. He is dead, and I do not believe it was an accident. Samuel leans back. For a moment his control slips and Isabella sees the raw edge beneath it. My mother died 3 years ago, he says. Before she died, she told me Marcus Winston threatened her, told her to disappear, told her my father would be destroyed if she stayed. Isabella's fingers curl around the letter. My father wrote this a week before he died, he said. Marcus knows. Samuel's gaze drops to the paper, then lifts again, sharp. Marcus has been moving money. I have watched his patterns for years. Offshore accounts, shell companies, foreign investors who never show their faces. He is not just stealing. He is building an exit. Isabella's pulse quickens. An exit after taking the company. Samuel nods. And after burying anyone who can stop him. They trade what they have. Isabella gives him her father's letters and the autopsy notes she pulled through a friendly doctor. Samuel gives her transaction logs he has collected through contacts who owe him favors. Together the pieces begin to fit. A trucking company formed 2 weeks before the crash. A maintenance report that says the brakes were fine. A payment that says, driver bonus. A calendar entry in Marcus's assistant's email that reads, dinner with partners, private room, no phones. Isabella looks at Samuel and the word brother rises in her mind like a threat. She does not say it yet. What do you want? She asks. Samuel's expression hardens. Truth. And a price. Isabella hears her father in her head, protect Isabella. She answers with a steady voice. I want blood debts paid. Samuel studies her for a long beat. Then he says. Then you are not as sheltered as they said. Isabella closes the redwood box in her memory. No. She says. I am just done being polite. They meet at night in a quiet corner of a private club that does not advertise its address. Isabella wears a simple coat, no jewelry. Samuel wears the same calm he brought into the boardroom, but his hands never stop moving, turning a glass, tapping a file, counting time. Working with you will stain me. Isabella says. It will save you. Samuel answers. Marcus will not stop because you embarrassed him. He will punish you for it. Isabella holds his gaze. Then we end him. Samuel opens a folder. We do it properly. Evidence, leverage, timing. No mercy but no mistakes. Isabella inhales. I agree. But if we do this together, I need your condition. Samuel's voice turns low. After he falls, Marcus must publicly admit what he did to my mother. He took her life apart. He made her hide like a criminal. I want her name cleaned. Isabella nods without hesitation. Done. And in return, I need you to stay in the shadows until the final strike. The board will resist you. They fear anything that breaks tradition. Samuel gives a thin smile. I have lived my whole life outside their tradition. Shadows are familiar. They shake hands and the moment is oddly formal, as if two nations have signed a treaty. From then on, they split the battlefield. Isabella stays inside Winston Group, moving through the headquarters like a queen among knives. Marcus freezes her access to internal systems, blocks her from executive meetings, and whispers that she is unstable, emotional, unfit. Isabella answers by smiling at every insult, by staying calm, by making his allies underestimate her. Arthur Benson becomes her anchor. In a quiet storage room beneath the building, Arthur opens a cabinet filled with old ledgers and archived reports. Your father asked me to keep copies. Arthur says. He did not trust the digital world, too easy to erase. Isabella flips through papers, seeing patterns Marcus tried to hide. Transfers that do not match project timelines. Expenses labeled as consulting fees that lead to no consultant. A trust agreement that routes money through a chain of banks. Samuel, meanwhile, hunts outside the building. He calls in favors from traders, auditors, and one stubborn journalist who owes him a debt. He pulls records from court files, tracks the trucking company, finds a mechanic who remembers a man in an expensive suit asking questions about brake lines. One night he meets Isabella in a parking garage where the cameras are broken and the air smells of oil. Marcus suspects something. He says. Isabella rests her back against the concrete pillar. He suspects everything. That is why he is dangerous. Samuel hands her a thumb drive. He hired a private firm to dig into you. They are watching your apartment. They followed Arthur today. He wants to find your weak point. Isabella's eyes narrow. Then we give him one. They craft a lie and place it like bait. Isabella argues loudly with Samuel in the lobby, where security can hear, where gossip travels. She calls him a parasite. He calls her naive. They storm away in opposite directions. The next day, Marcus's assistant makes a call from her office. A call Samuel's contact intercepts. They are fighting. The assistant says. The bastard is pushing too hard. Marcus believes it. He relaxes, just enough. In the quiet hours, Isabella and Samuel are not fighting. They are building. Isabella learns Samuel's habits. He never talks about his childhood. He never says his mother's name out loud, as if the sound might crack him open. He works until dawn, fueled by anger and discipline. Samuel learns Isabella's strength is not loud. It is patient. She can sit through a meeting where men call her girl and still smile, still take notes, still plan their downfall. On a late-night call, Isabella asks, "Do you ever regret coming into this?" Samuel's answer is immediate. No. Then he pauses. But I regret that my father did not tell you. I regret that you had to find me through a dead man's box. Isabella looks out at her city lights. We cannot change the past, she says. We can only make the future fear us. Samuel's quiet laugh is bitter. Then let's teach it. The first strike is financial, clean and brutal. Samuel identifies the foreign fund that feeds Marcus. It is a European investment group that hides behind layers of subsidiaries, but it bleeds like anything else. Samuel builds a coalition of investors who hate that group, rivals who lost money, regulators who want a trophy, reporters who want a headline. He does not attack with anger. He attacks with numbers. A report drops on a Monday morning, published by a firm with a reputation for cold accuracy. It exposes inflated assets, fake revenue, and a chain of transactions that circles back to the fund itself. Markets panic. The fund's value collapses. Banks demand collateral. Partners flee. Marcus storms through Winston Group headquarters, slamming doors, demanding meetings, barking at Sophia Green, his finance director and lover, to fix what cannot be fixed. Sophia meets him in his office, hair perfect, smile sharp. We can shift assets, she says. We can hide the gaps long enough to secure your position. Marcus grabs her wrist. Do it, or I will find someone who can. Sophia's eyes flash, but she does not pull away. You promised me a seat at the table. Do not forget that. Marcus releases her, breathing hard. When I am in charge, you will have more than a seat. You will have a kingdom. While Marcus rages, Isabella moves with quiet precision. Arthur Benson leads her to a safe deposit box in a bank that still respects old money. The box contains a trust agreement signed by Marcus, funneling company assets into a private structure controlled by his name alone. It also contains deeds for overseas properties and account numbers that do not belong to Winston Group. It is not just theft, Isabella says, scanning the pages. It is a plan to disappear. Arthur nods. Your father suspected it. He told me to keep these if I ever needed to burn Marcus. Isabella closes the file. Then we burn him. At the quarterly earnings meeting, the boardroom is packed. Cameras are present. Investors listen through a secure line. Marcus sits at the center, trying to appear unshaken, but sweat glints at his temples. Isabella stands and speaks before Marcus can. I have a report for the board, she says. Marcus snarls. You have no authority. Isabella looks at the chairperson. Do I have permission to present evidence of financial misconduct by an executive officer? The chairperson hesitates, then nods, face pale. Proceed. Isabella clicks a remote. A screen lights up with charts, transfer trails, and the trust agreement. Gasps fill the room. Sophia's posture stiffens. Marcus's hand grips the table edge until his knuckles whiten. This trust siphoned funds from company projects, Isabella says. This property was purchased with Missal-located corporate capital. These accounts received transfers the day after my father's death. Marcus lunges to his feet. Stop this. It is confidential. Isabella's voice stays steady. Confidential does not mean legal. A board member stammers. Marcus, is this true? Marcus points at Isabella. She is staging a coup. She is humiliating the family for power. Isabella steps closer. Power you stole with a murder. The words hit like a gunshot. Marcus's face twists. He reaches for the screen controller, as if he can tear the truth away. Security moves, but before anyone can act, the doors open. Samuel enters with two plainclothes officers and a man in a dark suit carrying a badge. Evidence has been submitted to compliance and to law enforcement. Samuel says. Any attempt to destroy it will be treated as obstruction. Marcus's voice cracks. You think you can walk in here with police and take my company? Samuel smiles, colder than before. It is not your company. It never was. Isabella turns to the board. You can vote today, but your choice is simple. Stand with the Winston name or stand with a man who is selling it. One by one, hands rise against Marcus. Marcus stares around the room, betrayal flooding his eyes. For a moment he looks small, almost human, then his expression hardens into something uglier. He leans toward Isabella, voice low. If you take everything from me, I will take something from you. Isabella meets his gaze. Try. Marcus does not surrender. He does what desperate men always do. He turns violence into leverage. Arthur Benson disappears on a gray afternoon. His phone stops answering. His driver finds the car abandoned near the docks. The trunk is open. Inside is Arthur's tie, cut in half. Isabella receives the call in her apartment. Marcus does not bother to hide his voice. You wanted a war. Marcus says. Now you have one. If you want Arthur alive, come to the old warehouse on Hudson Pier. Come alone. Do not bring Samuel. Do not bring the police. Isabella holds the phone with steady hands, but her stomach twists. Touch him and I will ruin you. She says. Marcus laughs. You are trying to ruin me already. Bring the documents you stole, or I will send Arthur home in pieces. The line goes dead. Isabella calls Samuel immediately. He answers on the first ring. Warehouse. She says. Arthur is taken. Samuel's voice is sharp. Marcus called you. Yes. He wants me alone. Samuel exhales. He is trying to split us. Isabella looks at the evidence folder on her table, the weight of it, the weight of her father's last week, the weight of Arthur's loyalty. We cannot abandon Arthur. We will not. Samuel says. But we do not walk into a trap without setting our own. They plan fast. Isabella will go to the warehouse and buy time, pretending fear, pretending surrender. Samuel will contact law enforcement through a trusted detective who hates Marcus's kind of corruption. He will also secure his own home, because Marcus will try to hit him there too. If Marcus is using hired men, Samuel wants them caught on scene, weapons in hand, and Arthur alive. The warehouse smells of rust and salt water. Isabella steps inside, heels echoing on concrete. Shadows swallow the corners. A single overhead light swings, turning the space into a slow, sick heartbeat. Marcus appears from behind a stack of crates. Two men flank him. One holds a pistol. The other holds Arthur Benson by the arm. Arthur's face is bruised, but his eyes are clear. You came. Marcus says, pleased. Isabella keeps her voice calm. Let him go. Marcus tilts his head. Hand me the documents. Isabella lifts a folder. It contains copies, not originals. Samuel insisted. You should have been patient. Marcus says. Your father was patient. He waited for the right moment, and I gave it to him. Isabella feels the rage rise, but she forces it down. You killed him. Marcus shrugs. I removed an obstacle. He chose you over me. He chose a girl over his own brother. Arthur speaks, voice rough. He chose decency. Marcus backhands Arthur. Arthur stumbles but does not fall. Isabella takes a step forward, and the man with the pistol raises it toward her chest. One more step and you die. The man says. Marcus smiles. I told you, Isabella, if you take everything from me, I will take something from you. Isabella lifts her chin. You can take my life, but you cannot take the truth. It is already out. Marcus's smile falters. A siren wails in the distance, faint but growing. Marcus turns sharply. You called them. Isabella holds his eyes. I called nobody, but you have made too much noise, uncle. Even the city can hear you now. The overhead light flickers. Footsteps thunder outside. A door bangs open. Samuel's voice cuts through the warehouse. Drop the weapon. Police flood the entrance. The hired men panic. The pistol swings. A shot cracks through the air, hitting a crate, splintering wood. Isabella dives behind a pillar. Her heart pounds like a drum. Samuel moves with startling speed, grabbing one gunman, slamming him to the floor. Officers tackle the other. Marcus bolts toward a side door. Arthur, half free, lunges on instinct. He hooks his foot in Marcus's path. Marcus trips, falling hard, hands scraping the concrete. He tries to crawl, but an officer pins him down. Marcus screams, rage turning to terror. You cannot do this. I am a Winston. Isabella stands, breath shaking, and walks toward him. She looks down at the man who called her girl, who called Samuel bastard, who called murder stability. You are not a Winston. she says. You are a stain. Marcus spits at her shoes. You will regret this. Samuel steps beside Isabella, eyes cold. No, you will. Officers drag Marcus to his feet and snap cuffs onto his wrists. Arthur sags, exhausted. Isabella catches him, steadying his weight. Arthur meets her eyes. Your father would be proud. He whispers. Isabella swallows hard. We are not finished, she says. But we are close. The evidence becomes a wall. Autopsy reports. Wire transfers. Recorded threats. Trust agreements. Emails. Witness statements. The truck driver's confession, traded for a reduced sentence. The mechanic's testimony. Sophia Green's signature on false ledgers. Marcus's lawyers try to call it circumstantial. They try to paint Isabella as a jealous heir. They try to call Samuel a bitter outsider. But the paper trail does not care about their speeches. In the courthouse, Isabella sits in the front row, spine straight, hands folded. Samuel sits behind her, silent, a shadow with sharp eyes. Arthur sits on the other side, a bandage on his cheek, his loyalty intact. Marcus enters in a suit that no longer fits the room. He looks older, smaller, but his eyes still burn with hatred. Sophia Green takes the stand and lies until the prosecutor shows her the emails. Her face drains. Her lawyer whispers. She breaks. I did what Marcus told me, she says. He said the company was his. He said he had to remove his brother. He said Isabella would be easy to control if she was grieving. The courtroom murmurs. Marcus slams his fist on the table. The judge threatens contempt. Isabella's stomach turns, but she does not look away. This is what she came for. The truth said out loud. When the verdict comes, it lands like a final door closing. Guilty on murder. Guilty on fraud. Guilty on embezzlement. Guilty on conspiracy with foreign partners. Marcus stares at the judge, mouth open, as if he cannot understand that the world has rules that apply to him too. He turns to Isabella and hisses. Blood will follow you. Isabella answers with a calm voice, heard by the nearest reporter. Blood already followed me. I just made it stop at you. Marcus is sentenced to life in prison. Sophia Green receives 10 years and forfeiture of assets. Others fall with them, smaller names, smaller sentences, but the same rot. 2 weeks later, Winston Group holds an extraordinary shareholder meeting. Cameras fill the hall. Investors watch. Employees stand in the back, holding their breath. Isabella walks to the podium. Today we rebuild, she says. Not with fear, not with secret deals, not with family entitlement. We rebuild with accountability. Anyone who betrays this company will face consequences. Anyone who endangers people for profit will be removed. Votes are cast. Isabella is confirmed as Chief Executive Officer by a clear majority. Samuel is named Chief Investment Officer, a role that gives him power without forcing him into the spotlight. After the meeting, Isabella finds Samuel alone on a terrace above the city. The wind is cold. The lights below look like a river of fire. It is done, she says. Samuel does not smile. Almost. He hands her a document. It is a formal statement, signed by the company, acknowledging his mother, her relationship to Isabella's father, and the wrong done to her by Marcus. It grants her a place in the family memorial hall. Isabella reads it, throat tight. Thank you for trusting me with this. Samuel's voice softens, just a little. Thank you for not treating me like a weapon. They stand in silence for a moment, the kind of silence that does not need filling. Later they visit the family cemetery. Snow rests on the grass, thin and quiet. Isabella places a white rose on her father's grave. Samuel places another. Arthur stands behind them, hands clasped. Isabella speaks first. We made them answer for what they did. Samuel adds, voice steady. And we will protect what you built, without repeating your mistakes. The wind moves through bare branches. The city hums in the distance. Isabella feels grief again, but it is different now. It is not a wound that bleeds. It is a scar that proves she survived. As they turn to leave, Isabella looks at Samuel. We are family, she says. Whether the world likes it or not. Samuel meets her gaze. Then let the world adjust. They walk back toward the path together, two heirs of one broken man, carrying the name forward with a new rule carved into it. Blood debts must be paid. And this time, the debt is settled. Months later, Winston Group releases a public ethics charter, signed by every senior executive. Isabella reads it in her office at dawn, coffee cooling beside the paper. Samuel stands by the window, watching the city wake. Do you ever think he would have chosen a different path? Isabella asks. Samuel answers without looking away. Some people do not choose paths, they choose hunger. Isabella folds the charter and sets it in a drawer. Then we will choose discipline. Samuel finally turns and the edge in his face eases. And we will choose each other. Outside, the skyline holds steady. Inside, the new Winston era begins.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.